Welcome back, Deadites and Ghost Beaters, and of course, we're continuing our march towards the conclusion of Season 4 of Stranger Things tomorrow, and talking about a topic I love to talk about anyway, and we did earlier this weekend, and that's Robert Englund. And we're going to talk about something that's really cool that I had no idea until I read the article with Collider, and we're going to put a link in the description for that article yourself, and it goes much more into what we're going to talk about here, but I just think there's some really cool stuff about how much reverence Robert Englund had by applying to be part of Stranger Things in Season 4, and apparently that wasn't the only time he auditioned. And if you like this horror-related content, please drop a like and a comment on the video. It really does help my channel, and of course, I answer all my comments below. As well, smash that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell for all horror-related content, albeit video games, movies, or TV shows. Join our Discord. We have a great group of horror-related people who won't just talk about stuff all the time, or if you're looking to play with horror-related games, that's the place to be. Now, let's break down what happened. As I was reading this Collider article, something that stood out to me and what blew my mind was that Victor Creel was actually not the first audition for Robert Englund. Now, we all know and love Robert as a horror icon, especially of Freddy Krueger fame, and we actually talked about whether Freddy could be possibly returning based on a Jason Blum video. And I'll include a link on the card for that, so you can just kind of click on that at the end of the video if you want to see that video on Robert Englund as well. But here's what we're talking about. So what happened with Robert is he actually talked about the fact that playing Victor Creel was not actually his first audition. He actually, quote-unquote, misfired. And Robert was quoted as saying, "I misfired on an audition for Season 3. I probably went the wrong way, that the character or something I really wanted to be on the show. I was disappointed. And I got the call or the submission for Season 4. Just came to my agent. My agent might have been submitted me, or casting director Carmen might have contacted her. I'm not sure which. I crawled into my bathtub with an old bathrobe on, and my wife sat at the toilet seat and filmed me with her smartphone. I sent it in, and it got a pretty quick response." Now, the question was, what role did he actually misfire on? And what actually he went for was Mayor Larry Klein of Hawkins, who ended up going to Carrie Elways. And it was quoted as saying, "I think they read me for the mayor, and I don't know if I was supposed to read or just meet with somebody. I drove up from Hollywood and didn't get to meet with anybody, so I read for somebody on Carmen's staff. I don't know whether they changed the concept for the role or whether I did a sucky job auditioning. I know that they said to me, read it like the mayor from Jaws." Now, that's one of my favorite character actors, Murray Hamilton, who played the role in Jaws, so I immediately thought of the plaid jacket and sunglasses and a kind of corrupt southern thing, and that's probably not what they wanted at all. But when they said the mayor in Jaws to me, that's what I saw in my mind's eye. So I probably canceled myself out without audition, but I was grateful when they contacted me again for Season 4, and this was a much better fit. I think that's cool that Robert, even a horror icon like Robert, could not be successful, and that the role went to Carrie Elways. Now, I think we were all in agreement that his portrayal for that one episode of Victor Creel was absolutely terrifying. And I think the reason is because he couldn't see anything. Check this quote out. "I had seen my makeup on me in London in a bathroom. The great Barry Gower and Duncan Germain, who did Game of Thrones, they invented the Night King amongst other great special effects and makeup. I knew they had my back, and I knew what I looked like, so I was not anxious about the makeup. I was essentially blind in the makeup. I had a pinhole that worked in one eye, no peripheral vision. It was very, very dark, and if I moved at all, sometimes the makeup adjusted and I couldn't see at all. So I did not have to act blind. And then the other happy accident of the nature of the scene, as I'm in a cell I've been in for 20 years, well, a blind person would know every square inch of it. That would make themselves familiar with it. I wouldn't have to walk around with my hands extended or tap on a cane or any of those cliches. I didn't have to devote any energy to that because Victor would know his space. He would know where his bed and his chair and his desk and where his bars were. He would have counted those paces off so many times that he would be instinctual to him. So I was freed of all of that performance energy, and I could just concentrate on the story and the emotional truth." And that was really cool. And finally, he talked about, as you know, our favorite characters, Robin and Steve, who I dropped a video on yesterday. And I'll also include that on the card as well. And he talked about that emotional scene in the bathroom and how much it meant to Robert and why he wanted to be part of Stranger Things Season 4 so bad. I had watched season 3 several times in my preparation, and one of the scenes that stuck with me in season 3 really charmed me and kind of blew my mind a little. There's a scene in the bathroom, the ugly, soiled, fluorescent lighting urinal of a bathroom at the mall at the end of the chaos in the mall, and it's Maya Hawke and Joe Keery coming down off of Russian psychedelics that had been given to them, and they've escaped and they're exhausted. And they're sitting on the floor in a public bathroom in the destroyed mall, and there's been seasons of flirting at Scoops Ahoy with Maya and with Joe, and it's unrequited. Steven's become a little smitten with her, and they're exhausted, and he pulls himself to the bottom of the stalls in the public bathroom in the stall, and she's in there, and they're both leaning against the sides, and she gently comes out to him. And it's just remarkable, a remarkable scene, because I just watched season 3 several times. I became a little obsessed with how great the acting was in that scene. I didn't get to meet Joe to tell him how great it was, but it actually reminded me in some strange, weird way of James Dean and Julie Harris at the top of the Ferris wheel in East of Eden. Just this great, wonderful scene, and I just wanted Maya to know that I was so impressed with it. She could have improvised with me. She could have done anything she wanted, because I saw in that scene with Joe, I saw how wonderful she was. And of course, Maya Hawke as well as Natalia Dyer were the ones that actually spent the scene with Victor in their weird outfits, which of course Robert mentioned he couldn't actually see what they looked like at all because of the way the makeup looked. And I think it's really cool that, one, we got horror icon Robert Englund in season 4. Of course, this is not much of a spoiler. If you didn't know that Robert was in season 4, I'm sorry. Let's be honest, we're going to have season 4.2. The conclusion will be tomorrow. It'll drop tomorrow, or it could be getting close to dropping depending on where you're at right now. And it's going to be a wild ride. And who knows who's coming out? Who knows who's making this season 5 when they jump to the 1990s? But I think it's really cool that even horror legends like Robert have to fight their way into a show like Stranger Things. And the Duffers have done such a great job with this season. I feel like season 4 has really gotten back to that glorious, just upper echelon, top tier, on a pedestal that season 1 was. And I think we're in for a wild ride tomorrow. So thanks for watching, and later, mates.